some music if you like that. If you would, we invite you to stand with us and sing along to God You Are. Let's sing to God this morning. God you are, every mountain, God you are, every ocean, God you are, every canyon, every inch of earth and sky, God you are, every morning, God you are, every midnight, God you are, every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moonbow. God, you are every star shine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe, and your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I say, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Nice job.
Oh, don't sit down too quickly here. All right, turn to the person next to you and say, "Good morning, my name is." Greet those people, that's it. This is the Unity community.
All right, so if you have something that resembles this or this, don't forget to silence it right now. You don't have to turn it off. We do have open Wi-Fi if you want to engage with the service as it's going. And you can also share our live stream, which is happening right now on Facebook, Twitter, and on our website and on YouTube. So we're trying to get it out there every way we can. If you can help us by sharing it to your page, your feed, that'd be great, especially as it's live. And if you're watching this online, we really appreciate you being with us and taking the time out of your day to be here, a part of this experience. And I really love that I have more and more people coming to me, traveling through Boulder, saying, you know what, I watch you guys online, and I love this community. And I actually had someone tell me yesterday, is it possible to be a member of Unity of Boulder but live in another state? watch you guys online. I said, absolutely. Stay in contact with me and we'll work out the details.
$5,000, you remember. Hey. Right off the bat, we want to welcome our Spanish-speaking friends who are joining me here, adding their beautiful energy to our Unity community. Is there anybody here from another Unity? Raise your hand high. It's hard to see in this light. Anybody
I
from
saw
another?
a hand, just this tentative hand over there.
Tentative hand. From another Unity church. Okay, where is it?
They don't know.
They don't
That's
know.
okay.
Okay.
I've been that way
Okay.
before.
Is anybody here for the first time? Oh, you guys are all, look at, keep your hand up. We're giving you a gift. This is, yeah, keep your hand up.
Got it.
No,
You're the head of
no,
the game.
no, that's not the gift. That's only a partial gift. Give me the
got it.
keys. Okay. All right.
So did you know that last night I did a talk on sex and spirituality?
No, I didn't know that. I guess that.
I didn't tell you ahead of time, so it couldn't be vetoed.
All right, did you get any good feedback?
I actually got amazing feedback. People
did?
really, some person said that it was the best talk they've ever heard me give, and that was something that we don't ever talk about, and that should be addressed. So we did that last night. It was a pretty powerful experience. We had a lot of good conversations afterwards. And I had a lot of people say, well, you know, this doesn't apply to me because I'm too old to do that sort of thing.
What, spirituality?
I said, yes, exactly.
Okay, well,
So
I'm
what
glad.
nugget do you have for us this morning?
Oh, this guy writes to the IRS and says, I haven't been able to sleep since I cheated on my income tax. I underestimated my income, and there's $150 enclosed in this check to you. And if I still can't sleep, I'll send you the rest.
All right.
That's it for today, folks.
Unity of Boulder. My name is Mike Shadle. I'm the church administrator here. My office is right in there. If you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns here, just come right on in there and say hello. We've got a few announcements here to kick things off with. Today at 1 p.m. is our first membership class today. If you're looking to become a member, of an official member of Unity of Boulder, this is a good starting point. This class will cover everything that's needed to become a member and what it means to be a member. It's free. It's from 1 to 3 p.m. today, and there is free childcare provided. And that'll just be meeting downstairs in our center assembly room. This Thursday, we're having a newsletter mailing led by me at 10:30 right over here in Fellowship Hall. When we do our newsletter mailings, we have a good time. We sit around, we hang out, we laugh, we eat snacks, and listen to music. It's a real fun, easy way to help out Unity of Boulder and share your time and your presence with us. So that's this Thursday at 10:30, also free. This Friday is our sing-along led by Erina, who's our head of music, who is singing right here. It's from 6 to 7:30-ish. The theme this month is music from singer-songwriters. Come out to that. You can bring your own beverage of your choice or food, snacks, whatever. That's this Friday at 6. And finally, also this Friday at 6, our Sunday school is going to be having a youth family movie and potluck downstairs on our big movie theater we built in our assembly room. This is for parents and children. They're going to be showing the new version of Peter Rabbit. It's free to attend, so come out to that and bring your little ones with you and bring a snack to share. And that is our announcements for today. Thank you.
We're having a song now? Okay. So anyone who would like to have a prayer partner sit with them at the end of the service today, please just come to the front, and our prayer partners would please stand for a moment so we can see who you are. and join one of these ladies, and they'll be here for you. We take a moment for prayer. Mother, Father of the universe, birther of all things seen and unseen, you are the invisible stars shining in the blue sky of day. You are the force of gravity leading the melted mountain snow down the river to the sea. Your beloved embrace opens our hearts. Your unending faith in us makes us strong. Your all-encompassing wisdom shows us the way. It is through you, loving essence of all that is, that each one of us is as precious as a star, made brilliant by you working in our lives. It is through you, loving essence, that our hearts are full of love and a vision of peace is made true. Be in our hearts and in our kindnesses. Be in our hands and in our doing. Be in our heads and in our thoughts of union. One creation in you, beloved. Amen.
We invite you to stand and sing this song with us. It'll bring us into the talk today. Will you say I am?
Who am I that the highest love would dwell in me? I was lost, but he brought me home with God's love in me. With God's love in me. Who the truth sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last we have seen the way Spirit's light shines here. In the dark of this hurting world, God's light shines through me. God's light shines through me. The truth sets free. Oh, it's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In this house of love, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Who the truth sets free. Oh, it's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In this house of love, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In this house of love, there's a place for me. I'm a
calls us. We are perfect. We are peacemakers. We are blessed. So those are the things that God says that we are. So if you carry that throughout your day and remember that in your interactions with others, you will be so blessed.
Let's look at our brothers and sisters with the lens of love and not fear. And remember that they are too are a child of God, and God is not against us. God is for us.
Let's sing a little more.
I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Yes, I am who you say I am. Who the truth sets free. Oh, it's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In this house, this is a house, Lord. There's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
Amen.
Good morning, everyone. What an awesome way to start. I love that song. I had to be in the sanctuary with you guys to sing along, just get into the presence and the power. I tell you what, I am in an altered state since Friday night with Marianne Williamson. I'm going to try to stay focused today, but I had an experience with her that I didn't expect, to be quite honest. I tend to go into life with very little expectations, and I think that's kind of a spiritual way of going into life, that everything is a surprise. You let yourself just be clear of any thoughts about what it's going to be. You prepare for it, but then you show up and you let life kind of sweep you away in the experience. And if I had any expectation, it was lifted beyond belief in her sharing and her honesty and the state of our world and this planet and what she was calling us to do and be and know that we are children of God, but we have a great work to do together right now. My talk series is called Stormproof, Securing Your Spiritual Foundation in a World of Radical Unknowingness. Today's talk is called Stop Apologizing for Who You Truly Are. Last week I spoke about the Akashic Records. I talked about spirit guides. I talked about our soul and how it never dies. And I talked about psychic phenomenon. I talked about empathy. I talked about healing. I talked about avenues for accessing this greater knowledge that lives within us, that has traveled with us many lifetimes, and getting us out of the five senses and growing in understanding of the mystery of life. Getting to a place where we can start to actually really feel and tap into this all-knowing. And the topic just came, it wasn't because of Marianne Williamson, this is the second talk actually, so this was last Sunday, that I spoke upon it. But I think it is very important at this time. I'm going to go in and out. I will share a little bit about what she shared on Friday. But I'm just going to go right into a slide that I shared last week to give you an understanding of what the Akashic Records are. Upon time and space is written the thoughts, the deeds, the activities of an entity, as in relationships to its environs, its hereditary influence as directed, or judgment drawn by or according to what the entity's ideal is. Hence, as it has been oft called, the record is God's book of remembrance. And each entity, each soul, as activities of a single day of an entity in the material world, either makes same good or bad or indifferent, depending upon the entity's application of self towards that which is the ideal manner for the use of time, opportunity, and the expression of that for which each soul enters a material manifestation. The interpretation then, as drawn here, is with the desire and hope that in opening this for the entity, the experience may be one of helpfulness and hopefulness. One of the things, the feedback that I got from my talk last week was I got lots of phone calls and I got lots of emails. And the major arc of what they were sharing with me is that they felt that everything I was speaking to, they could resonate with it. They had had memories, like just sitting here, that there were moments where they recognized that they had had direct connection with this greater potential, this greater love, and they had even had downloads and dreams of messages that they were to know for what their purpose was, why they were here now at this time, at such a really a tough time on our planet. And I talked last week about how we have soul families and we travel with soul families, and when we recognize people in this lifetime, there's something that resonates. It's not because it's just happenstance, but that they are our friends that have rejoined us this lifetime for us to move through the difficult, the tough, and inspire one another to remember the greatness of the last lifetime, hopefully, and move from there to be more expanded, more aware versions of ourselves, because this lifetime is critical. This one we chose, we've probably been preparing for many, many lifetimes to be the ones, to be the change that we want to see in this world. But what they shared with me was this: I don't have anybody to talk to about this. I fear that if I share that I'm having these intuitive experiences through meditation, or I have a cosmic moment with just a random person where I just knew that person, and I know that that was a soul friend, that I should seek out to make connection with that person, that someone would think I was crazy. And the big need was, can I come and talk to you personally? I want to have this conversation. Can I come in? And I'm up here to talk to you in the group, right? I can't do the individual work as much as I'm being called to, but what I'm up here to do is inspire you that you're sitting with soul family right now. And I actually encourage you to look out and start looking through a lens that they're all around you. You just have to simply recognize it. When we believe something in our mind, it will start to show up for you. Those supporters, those angels on earth that are the family that you chose. And unfortunately, the families that we also chose. And in some of our cases, we're really blessed by that. And in some of our cases, we realized we chose families that were difficult because we decided we were going to grow this lifetime. And we were going to face the difficulty and overcome that which does not work in the spiritual world. In the Edgar Cayce readings, it tells us that each soul chooses its parents by first looking to see where it can best learn the lessons that will allow it to experience its true purpose. So when you really see the fact that if we chose our parents, and Edgar Cayce, which is the most documented psychic and has been proven to be psychic and could access these Akashic Records I was just talking about and pull any soul out of it and tell you why you're having issues this lifetime because of past things that had happened in other lifetimes. The second that it was brought into the air this lifetime, something that happened in the past that's still triggering trauma, once he said it, would disappear like that. Just by him reminding you this happened, would disappear the need for the trauma this lifetime of this thing that you're carrying over. James von Prague says that 20% of our soul lives within our bodies. and 80% is out in the ethers connecting to all of it. We have direct access to these Akashic Records, to the memories of our life. And that's why we so constantly talk about meditation, sitting in the stillness, quieting the mind, walking in nature, looking to the animal kingdom for the answers and looking at the totems. Why did that bird cross my path? I want to look that up. Why did that squirrel just run in front of me and play with me, or whatever it was? To become mystical in thought, mind, and spirit. To be curious, like the little child that doesn't know anything, and that, so they believe that everything is possible. To get back into the childlike wonder, to look through a lens that this life is magical. There is something there that is guiding and directing everything you are doing if you would only let it. You know, I talked about spirit guides last week and how we have many, and we can access them. We have a spirit guide of healing. We have a spirit guide for guidance. We have a spirit guide for dreams. And when we call into the universe that we want to have answers to something, please help me understand why I have this relationship with this boss. What is the current here that I'm supposed to be learning, instead of taking a journey down something that's maybe hurting you too long for you to understand that there's something else waiting for you. But maybe just this conflict that you're facing is about you growing up enough to say, you know what, I love myself enough to not put myself through this anymore. Once we do that, we don't have to do that relationship anymore. You know how many times people will say to me, I'm with my soulmate now, everything is perfect, everything's great, and then all of a sudden, all the problems they had in the marriage that they had before, now they're divorced, all of them start to show up in this next marriage. That's common, right? We tend to date people that carry the same brokenness because we haven't healed our own brokenness. So we keep getting pushed up against something that's so uncomfortable till eventually we realize, oh wait, it's not about you. This is about me. Oh, I have to let go of this old, limited behavior, thinking, and acting in order for me to attract something that I know I'm worthy of, but I can't seem to let go of my bad behaviors, and being a yelling person or a passive-aggressive person, I still am using all these bad behaviors, but I think that I should still attract something better. It just doesn't work that way. It's always about you, as far as what you are energetically bringing into this world, and that's why we have to look at the soul and the development of the soul. So, the readings tell us that each soul chooses its parents. By first looking to see where it can best learn the lessons that will allow it to experience its true purpose, as human beings complete with free will and forgetting, we are allowed conscious choice about what we will do in this life. The lessons left unlearned will be taken on in a future incarnation, whether we are adopted into a family or born naturally into it. The soul has chosen this group of people for its incarnation. Casey said nothing happened by chance. Friendships are only the renewing of former purposes, ideals. So let's just do like a little check-in on your family members. Think about that. Nothing is on chance, that they all were divinely meant to be the ones that brought you in here. And those friends are just friends coming in. You can see that in some of your friends, can't you? You know you have walked with them. My best friend Zoe and I met in high school. And my first feeling for her, because she was 6'2" and I'm 5'3", and I had been in private school until high school. So being in this like really loud, clanging lockers, I'd been homeschooled till middle school, was at Boulder school, and then went to, you can't even imagine how my parents raised us in a bubble. It was a beautiful bubble, but it didn't really prepare you for Boulder High School. And my girlfriend was from California and was a latchkey kid that basically went to softball games on her own at 5 years old and would let herself in. So this girl was a tough girl from California and not the best side of the tracks. And she had an energy that was, she was huge, but it was the height, it was the being, and I thought, I don't want to ever cross that girl's path. That was my first impression, was like, oh my gosh, is that woman, I mean, her energy just went, and it was good, it was bad, it was ugly, it was all of it. I could just feel all of it. I'm sure that's when I was first realizing that I had that empathic, I don't want to be around her. But next thing I know, I'm in a car with her, with another friend of mine, and I was sitting in the back seat, and everything she said was the funniest thing I'd ever heard, and I could not stop laughing around her. I loved her instantly, and we still have that friendship. But as far as the parents, choosing your parents, I know I chose my parents. There is no question about that choice. And the upbringing that I had with them, I mean, we were given a doozy of parents. Chad and my brother Dell and I, we are so comfortable about talking about the mystery. You know, like when I'm standing up here talking about these things, I'm not speaking to an idea because I've read it in books. I'm speaking to an idea that I was raised in seeing naturally, so it's 100% real for me. It's not, I don't care if you think I'm woo-woo. I don't care if you think I'm a crystal lover. I don't care all the names that you could call me. I'm complete in knowing what I've seen and what I've experienced and how divinely guided and directed my life is. That's why I love to speak about it up here, and I wish you all just be brave enough to speak to each other about it, because it's the most exciting thing to talk about. It's the mystery of life. But my parents talked about Edgar Cayce since we were little. My middle name is Casey, after Edgar Cayce. And they taught us that God's love is expressing through us. We were raised to know that, and how nature has a heartbeat, because that was the most important wisdom they felt there was to teach us. My mom took us out of the public school system when I was in first grade, so that she could homeschool us and grow the intellect, but more importantly, teach us the way of a spirit-led life. Our grades were not more important than our curiosity being fueled into the manifestation of magic. We were taught the way of the Native Americans, as my mom is Native, where every living thing must be respected and that our planet Earth was alive and she gives us life. We walked gently through the woods with moccasins that my mom made for us and even beaded them on doe skin, so to walk gently on the earth, not to disturb even the smallest insect. That was the school I was raised in. Yeah, we still had math classes, and we still had English, and we had all those things, and she was a fantastic teacher, because she's a Capricorn. They're good moms. Capricorns are great moms. They are, I mean, we knew we were literally her entire world. If anything, I don't think she's ever looked as happy as she did during the phase of our childhood. And I relate. I know that I'll feel the same way when my kids go too. This is the best phase of my life, is raising children, because I want to do the same for them. So with that said, so I might have gotten, you could say, well, you got lucky. You got the lucky cards. You got delivered the good cards of life to get those kind of parents. And well, why did I get the parents that I got? You know, well, unfortunately, life has its ups and its downs. So I got all my comeuppance in my adult years, right? So you still come up with your stuff because you got to grow. It's not, you can't raise anybody in a bubble and think that they're not going to be still given the experience of the world. Sometimes in the Course in Miracles it says the illusion of the world, but it's pretty hard to say that it's an illusion, especially what we're looking at right now. But through partners and friendships and all sorts of relationships that I have gone through, and they've fallen away and they've broken my heart in 1,000 pieces. But the biggest break of my life was the loss of my son, Luca. And James Van Praagh talks about, in this incredible interview, and it touched me so deeply that I watched it last week, he said, people that come in and lose their children actually chose this before they came in with their child. And the child agrees to be the one that is going to leave the parent and then will guide the parent from the other side for the greatest growing experience of their life, so that you can believe in this greater something, that they're still alive, they're just not in this physicality of life. That you can create a new relationship with your child. It's just a different language, and you have to learn that language, and you'll learn it in meditation. You learn it in knowing that that 80% is outside of the physicality of life. We're only the 20% inside here. This picture is of the planet. We are connected to every single thing that's alive here, now, and things in the past, but all of it is in accordance with now. Nothing ever dies or falls away. Yes, like Marianne Williamson said Friday night, she goes, don't worry about the planet. The planet is going to come out fine out of this thing. She just might have to clear you all off of it to find the peace. So I have a women's group that we're following the book Wild Mercy by Mirabai Starr. Sorry, I couldn't get that out of the top of my head. And we read this little part, and I just want to read this little part from page 80, paragraph 4. And it writes, and it's a women's group, so this is going towards the women, which that's good, because sometimes it goes a little too more towards the men when it comes to religion and spirituality. Here we go. She is only as powerful as her community. Alone, she is nothing, and she knows it. The very concept of an individual Messiah makes no sense to her. When she hears the cries of the world, she reaches out and grasps the hands of her sisters. We know that it's not one person that could come and change the destruction that millions of people have done in destruction of not recognizing. You know, if you look at your indigenous tribes, they were raised from the very beginning that the Mother Earth is first. But in the Bible, it talks that we will have dominion over the animals and the earth, and so we could just destroy it, and we could do whatever. But somehow the people that lived on the earth understood that these times were coming. If we're going to live from a place of the ego and greed. So when we went around the group, the question we asked the group was, share an area of your life that you are hearing the cries of the world in your families, in your work, in your health, on your planet. You fill in the blank here. And what could your sisters, your community do to support you and comfort you? And a very dear friend of mine was sitting right to the right of mine, and she was pretty much leading the group on Thursday night because I was so exhausted because I'd been running around this 30,000 square foot building for like 14 hours before I did the group, and I said, can you take on the group? Here's the questions for the class, but I literally have nothing to give, and it was such a beautiful class because she just let spirit go through her. But she started to cry, and she started to say a prayer about all the flying life and the turtles and the polar bears and the genocide and the 200 million displaced people with no place to live, and the list just went on, and then the group just started crying. The cries of the world that she listed was unbearable. And our whole group just cried together. And something hit me in that moment. I always say up here, I don't watch TV, I'm not reading the paper, I don't want to watch it. I can't look to all the ills of the world because I'm trying to stay peaceful and I'm trying to stay in love. But I realized that's not right. That's irresponsible. And it's what Marianne Williamson said on Friday that just blew my mind. It changed everything about where I want to go with this ministry, with my work, with my raising of my kids, with my community, with my friends. Yesterday, I couldn't talk to anybody. My phone just rang off the hook, and even my oldest daughter called and said, something happened to me last night. Something broke open in me, and I can't put it into words. She goes, well, I want to know what it is. And I said, I can't rush this. Something hit me in the stomach in a way that it's like I found myself again anew. I was born anew by something that happened, and I can't even put into words exactly what she said. But she started her speech with a statement from Dr. Martin Luther King, and she said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." Marianne said, and some of you might not have heard some of the things she said because downstairs in the private room she went there for 45 minutes in a way that I feel she knows there's a camera up here and she had to be a little bit more measured about how she shared. But she said that there are many incongruencies on this spiritual journey. She said, there is a place for law of attraction as far as manifesting things for your life. But to deny what is happening in this world and not speaking about it and looking at it, we are ignoring and putting a blind eye to the future of our children's lives. And all of you with this woo-hoo, like, is all spirituality and law of attraction, and I speak about this every Sunday, I was kicked in the ass by her, because I'm wrong. She said, you're scared to look at the negativity because you're worried that you're going to create more negativity? I say it every week, do I not? I'm owning it right now. I'm owning it. And I will never say it again, because that's what got punched out of me. I am being irresponsible with this platform, and she was telling us that we are. If you are not going to speak on what's really happening, we're sitting here because we are spiritual beings wanting to make a difference in this world. We are divinely put here completely and totally in the presence of God, asking us to be his wings, his hands, his life, his spirit for healing, helping everyone, being there for others. The law of attraction is interesting and it works. It's really good. It is bubblegum spirituality because what you look upon, you do manifest it. It's a real nice trickery way for God to get you involved. It's the Disneyland side of it. But if you are not giving back to that energy that you're taking into your life, then you're missing the mark. You have to give to receive. You can't keep receiving and not giving. Where you see yourself being called every day in the grocery store, at the schools, you see injustice, you see something wrong, you have to call about it. You have to say something about it. As spiritual co-creators with this greater potential we call God, source, love, limitlessness, whatever word makes you feel connected to this all-knowing. Ask Spirit to speak through you. Marianne gave an example. What if your child gets into their teenage years and you know that they're doing drugs or alcohol? Do you just sit back and go, I'm not going to really confront that because I don't want to add to that and have them do more drugs and alcohol? No, you're going to dive in there as a parent because it's your job to raise your children and make their life incredible. But yet we're doing the opposite when it comes to the very core of what gives us life and gives it to us abundantly in the most honorable way. So, I'm going to pass my next slide, so you guys can just move past that one. I'm running out of time, but I'm shaking. I just feel the Holy Spirit right now. I'm shaking. I love that feeling when there's something, it just feels like I kind of just got out of my way and went backstage, and then something else is like, here, guys. The enduring process of putting on this event with Marianne Williamson. On New Year's Eve, I was burning limited thought processes and feelings and belief systems I was holding around myself and burning it in my fire. And I've never really sat down and really done that. And I was also holding it around my belief system around this spiritual center and its ability to grow and become so abundant and prosperous. And I let go of the idea that we weren't going to see this place start getting packed with people. And one of my requests with it to my guides was, I want to see Deepak Chopra here. I want to see Marianne Williamson here. I want to see all the greats, and I want to meet them personally, and I want to share them with the people of Boulder. And it wasn't a week later that I was about to take a staycation when we got the phone call from Marianne's agents asking if we would like her to come. And the second I heard that, I knew it was so divinely called into manifestation by all the work Shad and Jack and I have been doing to rebuild and reface and rechange and really look at the philosophy and make it what Boulder really needs. But on a personal level, I took responsibility that I called it into the universe. And it felt great, and I was willing to do all the work. Shad and my husband and Heather and I and Shad and Erna and Jack and Norma, we ran with it. And we really did it all without any volunteers until that night. And then that night we had the best volunteers ever, but everything else was done by us. Well, Rob Cross did the platter of food for the VIP. So I'm going to ignore you because that was before the event. And it was delicious, by the way. So when it all went out without a hitch, one of our parishioners had told me 2 weeks ago, I just want to warn you that when Marianne is here, Mercury's going to be in retrograde. So you might want to pray that everything goes smoothly. And I'm like, thanks for just calling that into the universe. You know what I mean? Like, put that in your back pocket and walk out of here. Like, why would you tell me that? Because now I have this little Mercury's in retrograde. Right? But it went without a hitch. And everything that we spoke into, feeling, thoughts, into the whole event, it went perfectly. And when we left, we didn't get out of here till about 11:30. Mike and I went home, and we were just sitting on the couch just reminiscing about the entire thing. And we were vibrating. It was a sense of, it's one of those times you'll never forget. The whole night was like that. It's just sitting there going, wow, we just witnessed an experience, and we got to be the people that opened up the gates for the process. And it was just a wonderful, treasured moment for he and I together. And we're talking about this, and all of a sudden, our bedroom alarm clock went off. And it's like 12:30 in the morning. And we don't get up at 12:30 in the morning, ever. And the weirdest thing is that we always have this really obnoxious alarm clock that he's had for 30 years that just screams at you, rah, ah, ah, ah. But this time it's music. And of course it's like music that Mike would listen to and not me. And the song that was playing at the top of its sound in our bedroom was Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. I don't know if that's important. I just thought I'd add that part because I had to just write it down, because I do know that that alarm was Spirit, my guides, the ones that I asked to precede me into this process and make manifest something. And we have always taught that when it comes into fruition, you have got to remember to thank them. And that was the alarm. You liked it that much? Did you think you did it by yourself? And we sat there in gratitude. When these type of things, I don't ever think of them as coincidences. We had chills all over our body when that happened. I love it. When you can literally feel spirit palpitate within your being, and the more you believe that this is possible, the more it happens. I'm going to skip another slide. Edgar Cayce affirmed that God is love, and love is therefore what we are and what motivates each soul. If you wish to experience more love, be more loving. For love, as friendship, grows by being showered upon others. Each morning, the moment you take your head off the pillow, you have all that you need. From the Cayce files, it becomes clear that all of our important relationships in the present had their foundation in the past as far as the soul is concerned. Apparently, we do not meet anyone of importance for the very first time. Cayce believed we had a number of soulmates, people with whom we had incarnated before and with whom we could create a positive relationship. And sometimes we wouldn't create a positive relationship. I've learned a lot from the ones I didn't. He discussed the characteristics by which we could identify those people. They were people who would assist us in our soul development. So it's Deuteronomy I'm about to turn on. How about you turn it on? Thy friend, which is as thine own soul, it says in the Bible. Thy friend, which is as thine own soul. And we have those friends that we couldn't really live without. He told us to look for the person who helped us be a better person. He often referred to a spouse as a helpmeet in reference to helpmate. He said we would be drawn to souls we had known before, and in order to complete unfinished business, we could pick up where we left off. When I met my husband, Mike, he was familiar the second I came in contact with him. He came in here to interview for a job, and I heard him talking to my secretary outside of my office, and just the sound of his voice was, why do I know that person? I knew he was there to meet with me, but why do I know him? And then he met with me, and the whole time he's talking, I'm not hearing a word he's saying. I'm just going through my database of my life. Where have I met him? I know this person. I just know I know him, you know? And it was an immediate just connection. Like, he made me laugh, and I felt like I hadn't laughed like that in so long, like this lifetime. There was just a commonality in our humor and the things that he did. It was just mesmerizing. And then my mom went to take him on a walk around the building and talk about unity and what it means and what it doesn't mean, and shared all of it. At that time, he said he was an agnostic. He came out of that very quickly, becoming a part of our family. And when he came back upstairs, he ended up going in my dad's office to get interviewed, and my mom came to my door and she said, "He's our family." And I felt a lightning bolt go through my entire body, because I'd been sitting the whole time going, who is this person? And we're going to have our 5-year anniversary in like a few weeks, and every day, I can't believe I have my soulmate finally. To have that person that they don't complete you, they grow you, they love you, they're kind. He is aware. He's taking on my children as if they're his. He prays with us. He sings with us. And it's as if he just filled everything that was missing in my life, all my life. I went through all that to be challenged, to be challenged, to be challenged, to be enough to be able to meet equally with the beauty of this person that I am with. I have found the one whom my soul loves. And that's how I see it. We'll take an offering for unity now.
Thank you, Syntysche, for that powerful talk. She did mention that we need to step into the flow of giving. In the class that I'm currently working through with the students that are partaking in the 90% class, we're becoming givers, which, believe it or not, actually takes a lot of work, because we're in a consciousness and a society that tells us we should be takers. So you have to unprogram all that programming that's been built into you as children to become givers. So we have an opportunity right now to practice that spiritual tool of giving. Not just giving to this, but facilitating the process of our own spiritual growth and the spiritual growth of those around us by giving. We do have many ways to give. If you don't have any physicality of money on you right now, we do have the digital ways to give. If you're watching us online, we encourage you to join us in this process by giving as well, clicking on the donate button or using these digital platforms. So let's take our contributions into our hands, whether they be physical, digital, or spiritual. And if you'll say this offering blessing with me: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive as I give. And I do want to remind you that today's membership class is open to anyone. If you want to be a member or not, we're going to be going through Unity history, a lot of fun stuff, so you can be a part of that either way.
What time is it?
1 o'clock downstairs.
I would like to dedicate this aria to my father, who first shared his love of opera with me, and now I am sharing my love of opera with you. And this is O mio babino caro, which means my dearest daddy, by Giacomo Puccini.
Piace